Welcome back to Poor Pilot Better Plane. This week we're looking at World War One. Right, welcome to the runway. So here we have the Fokker DR1. You can see it's a triplane. This is from the First World War. We're going to do First World War today because of Remembrance Day. It was quite recent. Now the controls on this are a little different. So I'm supposed to, let's see, I have to change the angle of pitch on the blades to get them to bite. There we go. And then I can increase torque with the throttle. So hopefully they have now got a bit of bite and we're starting to get a speed up. And we should hopefully get into the air. I'm hoping. Maybe just, yeah. Ooh, this is interesting. So yeah, so this is the German Fokker DR1. So this was like the equivalent of a fighter spy reconnaissance plane in the First World War. We can hear all the other planes going there. This is really hard to fly. I suppose they were designed to fly at exceedingly slow speeds. So this is by Justadutchguy. I don't think we're going to fly this for long. It is a really different flying experience, actually. I suppose when you've been flying with sort of jet engines, you're really not used to it. It's a bit like the flying wing from a couple of weeks ago. It is very different. I'm actually going to put it down for a landing because I think I'm going to crash. Yeah. So, oh, there's something broken, and there's something else broken. I think I've lost wheels. Oh no! Oh no! Well. Can we just roll over? Can you get out? Can we get the pilot out? So that is the Fokker DR1 by Justadutchguy. If I was you, I'd give it a go. I'm pretty sure you could do better than I can. Oh, so shall we get on to our next plane? Right, on the runway we have the Sopwith Camel. So this was the British sort of fighter, sort of generic flyover, figure out what's going on sort of plane. It's a name that many people will know if you're into the First World War, but I'm going to be honest, it's probably the only, with the exception of the Fokker, the only name that I could actually tell you, and just the camel part of it because it's memorable. So it's a biplane, not a triplane. Whoa, we got some weird wheel situation going on there. With these, there's a lot of torque on the engines, and oh dear, ow. I think we're going to try that again. Right, let's try take two. Right, let's try that again. So the first Sopwith Camel that you got to see was by HolidayTheLeek, and he has another plane coming up as well. But this one is by rgilpt. Again, the name will be down there. It should be on the screen as well for you. I don't know how you pronounce that. And this again is a Sopwith Camel, but it's a little different. We've actually used a jet engine because this was, I believe, created in 1 point whatever without mods. So let's see if this flies any better, or whether we're amazing that we actually managed to fight a war with these things. Let's see, are we going to move? Let's get some throttle up. Oh, you know what, just hit full throttle because we can. So it does have a bit of a roll on it. I'm not entirely sure why. It's like it's a bit made of jelly. There is some stuff on either side of the runway. We have cleared the runway after the last. Oh, it's taken off. So yeah, so this takes off really nicely, doesn't it? I didn't even realise it had actually taken off. Beautiful little craft. As I said before, it's a biplane, not a triplane. You can see here we've used a jet engine in amongst here somewhere hidden away to do the powering of this. But originally the plane was propeller driven. Well, it's actually, you know what, it was terrible on the ground, but it is quite nimble in the air. It's quite good actually. Obviously it's simplified because it uses a jet engine, but in the First World War it would have been fighting against the Fokkers. Of course, the Fokkers with the, and I can't remember his name, Baron von Manfred von Rickenboffen, oh, here we go, was the German ace at the time, and of course your Allied forces were trying to compete with him, and he shot down a lot of them. I think he got 19 victories in air combat. I believe, was he referred to as the Red Baron? I can never remember these things. So we're going to come into a landing nicely with this, and oh dear, oh my. Well, I guess that tells us one thing. We can understand why the Red Baron always won. Right, let's get on to something a little bit more substantial. Right, here we have something a little bit bigger. So this is the Gotha G.V. This was a German bomber. It mainly did bombing runs at night, and of course bombing wasn't as prevalent in the First World War as the Second World War. You see, it's propeller driven. Let's see if we can get this going. So let's have a look. So it says it has that there. It got a bit of that. Let's have a look. Is it actually doing anything? Are we actually moving forward? Can we go forward? Is there any control? Right, so just coming down the runway, we have the AC Handley-Page Type O. This was a biplane on the British side during the First World War, and it was a bomber. It was very similar to the Gotha of the Germans. It was a bomber. The Gotha, of course, unable to move on my runway for some reason, so that's really interesting. So we're just going to try and get some speed up here. It is quite slow taking off. Now you've got to remember, these craft were not designed for, you know, massive speeds, and this is also a very large craft. It's got a lot of parts to it, and you can see we're struggling along. We've taken off at 40 meters per second there, and that's quite fast. So, you know, a crash is going to be very slow in this. You know, you're going to potentially walk away from it. You can see our engines there. Look at that, we're hearing all the other craft firing up right now. I'm still trying to understand the use of the rotor sort of system and torque and things like that with these, because I seem to get a better speed on when they've got slightly less torque, but I don't know. You can see we've got four Kerbals in it, and it is a big plane. It was one of the biggest planes of the time in the war effort, shall we say. One thing I think you will note is flying old craft like this, be it with jet engines or with that's a lot of skitter there, or with the actual stock propellers. They are very sort of slow. They're delicate. I mean, this is a beautiful little craft. HolidayTheLeek has made a lot of other craft, and you know, you saw earlier his Sopwith Camel that was beautiful, and then I managed to destroy it, and then destroyed another Sopwith Camel. This again is another brilliant example. Please go and check it out on Kerbal X. The links will be down there. I'm about to do something I really shouldn't do, which is I'm going to try and bank it round and turn it. This is a big plane. It should really not be doing this. I should be taking my time with this, and I should be really careful. You'll see that in the top left hand of the bar there, this is taking a lot of time. I'm not sure how many parts this is. I think it's 400, 500, 600. It will grind your computer to the dirt quite happily, but it is a beautiful craft to look at. Now the next question is it landable? Because that's the important bit, isn't it? So we're going to turn it around, and you know what, at this speed I'm not sure anybody could crash. Surely it's just going to be a controlled fall. So we're going to try and level it out. Now in reality, I should not have done that turn. I should not be as high as I am. But, you know, this is me, and it's a First World War plane. Please never, ever think of me as a pilot. It is actually quite manoeuvrable. I suppose because of its speed, that is part of the advantage. We'll cut its engines. Now, it should be able to glide. It should be able to glide because, of course, basically they were gliders with engines in the First World War. It's important to remember that this is a completely different age of technology now, and this is made up of Kerbal parts, obviously, but the whole design philosophy is very different. It was an achievement to get into the air. And so in those days, just getting into the air was a wonder. We see a revolution when we come to the Second World War, where you actually had planes that became much more capable, and that was in the order of 20 years after this. The Wright brothers had only just discovered flight before the First World War, so it was a really new thing. And even nowadays, you look at Second World War planes and you think how sort of archaic they actually were, how basic they were, but they were also very beautiful. These planes very much that we're looking at now in World War One were built by people that were just only grasping the idea of aerodynamics as we come into land. And oh dear, something broke. I think something broke there, don't you? So it is very much based on what you would think of. It's a bit like a kite, isn't it? I would love to be able to talk to you about the airfoils and things like that, but yeah. I think things like the Blériot and the Wright Flyer and things were fundamental sort of cornerstones, and they were basically copied. If you look at the Wright Flyer, this has got a lot of traits of that. The multiple wings, the strutting, all that sort of structure is very similar of that concept. You go to the Second World War and all of a sudden things have changed dramatically.